What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to TTB Ravens Media. It's the pregame show for what I think is going to be the game of the year. You know, Ravens, Bills, two best teams in the NFL in the regular season in power rankings for most of the year. Obviously, some teams had better records, but Ravens, Bills have been talked about all year long by the media. Lamar, Josh Allen, two MVP candidates. Really, it's a two-horse race at this point. Those two, we'll see who gets it in a couple of weeks. But Philly, Rams, like that game's going on right now. So, I don't expect a lot of people to join in, early in the stream till that game ends. But if anybody's joining early, appreciate you guys for joining. But Joshua, how are you feeling for this game, man? Second time playing against Buffalo Bills in the postseason under Lamar Jackson.
Man, let me tell you something. From a scale of 1 to 10, 1 feeling like, I'm scared, 10 feeling like I'm fired up. Man, I'm fired. I'm like a damn 20. I'm fired up as hell. I mean, I've been waiting for this game, man. I mean, I know they've been talking about week 4. The Bills didn't have these guys. You had other Ravens fans, say, oh, well, we didn't have these guys, but we did this. And now you have had the narrative because, I can't take it away from Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills. They did get some wins that, kind of did help them out in this MVP candidacy, especially, beating the Kansas City Chiefs, which was a team that we possibly thought could have went on an undefeated record like the Patriots that one year. But, Josh Allen and company, they did what they did, and now here we are. We are in the divisional round of the AFC playoff games, and now, we beat the big brother, 2 times out of 3 this year, and now we get the team that, that beat us in the 2021 playoffs. And, for those press conferences, Lamar Jackson said, yeah, I remember 2021. Everybody want to ask him, like, you and Josh Allen talk. Are you guys friends? Nah, man. We keeping that energy of it's war. We keeping that energy of it's war. And the whole Ravens organization is on that same level. They on that same energy. And honestly, for me personally, I'm not into the superstition, but, for, what was it, every 12 years, the Ravens won a Super Bowl, and every quarter franchise quarterback was 28 years old. And with this being Lamar's, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, McConnell, his 7th year as the franchise QB.
Year 7.
Okay, excuse me. There's a lot of good things going on. I mean, even from, what was that most recent episode from Hard Knocks, and I forgot which analyst was at the facility, just say, hey, man, we got something here different in Baltimore. So, it's just a different vibe. It's a different energy level. And, being able to go up to Buffalo and kind of getting our revenge back, I like our odds. I like the sound of it. I love the take of it. I know everybody was talking about the weather. I think they kind of did some type of Chris Berman. Thank you, JJ. I think they talked about they've been doing some type of warming up the field. I don't know if Buffalo plays on a turf field, but the weather conditions is not going to be an issue. But at the end of the day, these games are meant for a ground and pound game, and arguably we're still the best team with the best ground and pound game in these playoffs.
Yeah, in this game, the Eagles game is definitely the worst weather conditions that we're going to be seeing probably in the postseason. That game is a blizzard right now. Snow all over the field. Snow is coming down right now. That's not going to happen in this game. Now, there might be a little bit of snow that happens off and on, but it's not going to be a lot. And it's not necessarily going to be a huge effect on the game. The one question is, with the weather, obviously it's going to be cold. We know that. It's, I think, around 20. It's 20 plus degrees. It might be wind chill, in the teens, or 10 degrees or something like that. But it's above 20 degrees. It's going to be cold. It's not going to feel good hitting. But this isn't a game being played, like that Chiefs-Dolphins game was last year, where you're looking at, Mahomes and 2, and you're like, dude, these guys, I don't know how. Like, Lamar's not playing with a glove on his throwing hand. And if it was 0 degrees, I would be worried with him not wearing a glove. But and Wrong Siren says there's little to no wind. That's fantastic. That's a huge plus for both teams. Not saying just a plus for the Ravens. Both teams passing the ball. It is cold. It's going to hurt. That means the more physical team's probably going to win this game. When it gets really cold, and you're playing in January, the team with the physicality, disciplined physicality, you don't want late hits. You don't want, roughing the passers. You can't tackle the quarterback ever. We learned that in the Texans game. So don't tackle quarterback. Don't tackle receivers. Devontae Smith jumped up for a pass and got hit, and the guy knocked the ball out. And they're like, flag. I'm like, are you just supposed to let him catch the ball now? Like, is that what we're doing? Like, I don't know what's going on here. Because I watched that play and I was like, that's the play I saw Ed Reed make 55 times. Like, that was Ed Reed. You throw it deep over the Ed Reed's gonna give you if you jump. But overall in this game, the Ravens got to be physical, and it starts with the front seven. It starts with the offensive line. It starts with the trenches, right? We have Derrick Henry. We have Lamar Jackson. We have all of these, flashy names: Roquan, Kyle, Marlon, Nate Wiggins. But really, the guys that decide this game are going to be the unsung heroes of the season, right? It's going to be Linderbaum. It's going to be Ronnie Stanley. It's going to be Daniel Faalele if he is a really good game. You look at the defensive side of the ball. It's going to be Beeks. It's going to be Travis Jones, Adafe, Kyle Van Noy. Like, those are the names that I think are going to decide this game, because one of the issues the Baltimore Ravens have had is bringing down scramblers, which every team struggles more with bringing down scramblers. But Josh Allen, that's his game. He's a difficult quarterback to sack. He's going to keep his head up. He had a great throw against the Ravens. Remember, he's rolling out right. He makes that jump throw like 40, 50 yards downfield.
I think it was to Shakir?
I think it was to Khalil Shakir, yeah. And so, overall, we just got to make sure that Josh Allen doesn't kill us on the ground. If you can kind of contain that pocket, how you stop obviously how you stop, it's it's theoretical. How you stop a rushing quarterback like a Lamar Jackson, a Josh Allen, a Jalen Hurts, is it has to do with your pass rush lanes. Obviously, the initial aspect is you have to contain, right? So the outside, the edges, basically, so our Kyle Van Noy, our Adafe away, they have to make sure that Josh Allen can't get outside of them. So they basically get outside. But the other aspect is the interior pressure. They can't lose their spot, because so we have them contained on the outside, right? If Travis Jones, Justin Madubuike, and they both shift and they push with Adafe, all of a sudden, huge lane. Josh Allen's going to scramble right through there, right? If they try and stunt and both of them get stuck on a spot, Josh Allen's going to scramble up the middle. You have to make sure you have disciplined rush angles in order to keep him in the pocket. And again, he's good in the pocket. This is not saying, just make him throw for the pocket, you're going to win. But it's going to make it a lot easier to stop the Bills' offense if Josh Allen isn't running all over you the entire game. The Ravens did a very good job in their first matchup at that. They got some big hits on Allen, both scrambling and in the pocket. They need to try and do that again, cleanly. 100% cleanly, but they have to make sure that he can't wreck this game with his physicality. And that's one of the benefits the Ravens have, is they do have guys that are physical, whether it be at the corner, safety, linebacker, or pass rusher position. They're going to try and hit you. They're going to make you feel it. And especially in the cold, that's going to be huge today for me.
I mean, you said it best. When it comes to these type of games, yes, you can have a great running game, but you cannot do anything without your front seven on that defensive side of the ball, and also for your front five. Ron Siren, are you worried that the Ravens are going to force to run too much? I'm gonna say this: I'll be more worried if we forced the run and did not get any type of level of progression on the field. Now, I would be more worried if we reverted back into going to showing an offense that's not our style of offense. And we playing a different style of game from other than what's got us here to the playoffs. And I give them a big shout out for, even though Zay Flowers will not be playing with us again today, which is totally fine to me, that they stayed true to their identity of playing against the Steelers. And we will be without Zay Flowers again today. And I still need them to stay, true to our identity as well. So that will honestly, that will worry me the most if we forced to run and didn't get any positive yardage and no forward progression, things of that nature. I mean, these are one of the type of games that you had to take up time of possession because I can't take it away from Josh Allen and company. They do have one of those offenses that can go out there and score quickly if wanted to. Now they have implemented a run game with James Cook, and they will be trying to run the ball as well. The only thing, like McConnell said, when you're playing against a mobile quarterback, the best thing you can do is have your edges get that outside containment. Make sure you have that gap identity. And sometimes at the end of the day, you gotta send some blitzes. I mean, the Ravens and Zach Orr defense, they did it with sending Marlon Humphrey on those backside blitzes, trying to disrupt Russell Wilson's, passing. And sometimes you're gonna have to do it again. Josh Allen, in my opinion, McConnell, I'm gonna say it. He is nothing but a big glorified Big Ben. He's not as talented as Big Ben, but he's close to it.
I'll say this. Josh Allen is a drastically better player than Ben Roethlisberger ever was.
But see,
I don't even think it's close. Like, I'm taking Josh Allen every day of the week over Big Ben.
Arm-wise, yes, but I'm thinking size. I mean, Big Ben, he wasn't the fastest, he wasn't the mobilest, but if he did get out the pocket, he was a tough 6'6", 268 something pound big dude to take down as well. Now, Josh Allen is a little bit more athletic, the arm is stronger, but as far as his play style, that's who it reminds me of, and he just doesn't have this. He just didn't have the run game behind him, nor the consistent wide receivers that a Big Ben did in Pittsburgh. Nor did he have that defense as well to get a couple Super Bowl rings. But honestly, Josh Allen gets better when he has a star-studded wide receiver on that he could throw it to versus Lamar Jackson. I'm not going to say when it comes to our wide receiver groups, they've been like tier level Bs or B pluses or maybe C minuses at best, and some of the best year in some of these couple of years that we have made it to the playoffs. And he's been able to make lemonade out of some of the lemons that he's been given. So that's. When people talk about this MVP candidacy talk, is like, hey man, listen, you got to look at you're looking at the numbers. I know it's a narrative thing, but I feel like both narratives are looking pretty good. I feel like both narratives are pretty strong. I feel like because of what Lamar and the Ravens organization have been going through, that he should possibly slide with that MVP trophy. But at the end of the day, we worry about the bigger thing, which is that Super Bowl ring, that Super Bowl MVP. We'll take that more than the glorified in season trophy. But back to possibly containing Josh Allen. The more pressure you can get on him, the better. You got to continue. A guy like him, you have to continuously hit. The reason I say you continuously hit him and force him to play in the pocket is because he will be scared. Some athletes, but I feel like Josh Allen will be scared to kind of run out the pocket and kind of try to run to make those extra yards. If you constantly keep hitting you constantly keep hitting them, and you hit them in a way that you're enforcing your will, letting them know like, hey, you keep coming out here, we're gonna knock you out. Because between Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, they're not Patrick Mahomes, and what I mean by that is when Patrick Mahomes run out of the pocket, he's looking at the ref for the call. The ref throws the flag. With these two running style of quarterbacks, it would not be no unnecessary roughness, this, that, and the other. Once they get out the pocket, they are a live runner, and they will be getting hit. Point blank simple.
Yeah.
So it's just really like we've been saying, like everybody's been saying. I think it comes down to the physicality. I mean, Matt Milano, I don't know how truthful it is. He said Lamar Jackson is nothing but a Deshaun Watson in the pocket if you stop him from being mobile. I said, well, damn, Matt, I could have swore, the times that we played against you, that he shook you out your damn cleats. But hey, y'all try to stop him if you can. And to me, the Buffalo Bills do not have the size on their front seven that compares with our size from our offensive line. So it's going to be interesting to see. It's been a lot of different point of views. It's been a lot of different perspectives. Been a lot of trash talk. I love the fact that they sent 5 tour buses up there to Buffalo. I love what we've been doing for as in the city. All the parades and the cheerleaders been out having fun. I mean, Buffalo even been doing their thing too. So everybody's city is geared up. They're ready. They're locked in. They're loaded. I mean, we love to see it. But like you said before the show started, man, this is going to be one of the biggest games of the year. I mean, yeah, we put on the show week 4 and we showed our dominance. But this game right here, I think this game right here solidifies who goes to the Super Bowl, in my opinion, because Kansas City has kind of been skating by. They kind of been skating by and getting away with not large margins, not large marginal wins, but they've been squeaking out those wins. And I think between either us and Buffalo, we have a for sure chance of beating Kansas City.
Yeah. And first off, I want to say thank you so much, Barthangalang. I'm trying to figure out how to say that. I think that's right. For the super ticket. Doesn't show up on StreamYard. So I pulled up this. This is what it looks like. I think that's the first time we've ever gotten a sticker. So thank you so much. That's the first time literally we've ever gotten that. Thank you, Barthangalang, for sending that. I apologize that it doesn't show up in this thing. They gotta add that. We can get StreamYard to step up their game and show these stickers. But he also says, let's go, Kyle Hamilton. 100%. Kyle Hamilton is going to be huge in this game, not only with the pass coverage, making sure Josh Allen, Amari Cooper, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir, they don't get as deep, but making sure James Cook in that short passing game, that screen game, Josh Allen in that scrambling game, stopping those things up close to the line of scrimmage. That's where he thrives the best. So definitely look for a big Kyle Hamilton game. That would be huge here. And we talked about this already. Joshua did. Are you aware the Ravens are going to force the run too much? Honestly, no. I think that's without a doubt how the Ravens win this game is by running the football. Now, if it's a situation where they're getting 1 yard, 2 yards a carry, and they're going run, pass second on 3rd and 7, yeah, that's an issue. But that hasn't happened once all year. I don't think that's ever happened in a game with Lamar Jackson at quarterback. I'm not worried about them forcing the run too much because I don't know if they necessarily ever have forced the run too much. Now, there were games where the run was bad, but it was bad because the passing game concepts were terrible with Greg Roman. Todd Monken's got to rely on his stars, and his stars are Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and Mark Andrews. So run the ball, hard play action, hit the tight ends. I'm totally fine with it. And JJ brings up a great point. I think Justice Hill is going to be huge. The screen game obviously was something that was massive in that first game. Remember earlier in the year, Todd Monken was like in his bag with the screens. The screen game fell off. But Justice Hill has played very well for the Ravens since he's come back. I would like to see him out there in situations. I'd also love to see sets split back. Derrick Henry on the left, Justice Hill on the right. You could even have situations where you run triple option, right? Fake the handoff to Derrick Henry, and then Lamar and Justice are running, triple option. So, all these different things. I think they can utilize both, right? Have both of them check and release, have both of them go into the flats. A lot of different options. We haven't seen it very much this year, if at all. So that's something I'd love to see, as well as it would be cool to see some Wildcat again show up in this game. I'd love to see that. I don't think first drive is necessarily the time to bring it out, but it would be cool to see Wildcat, see Lamar in motion, and maybe give it to Lamar. Because I think that Wildcat play with Lamar in motion, the goal was to set future plays up. You don't really just run one Wildcat play all year. Or I think that was the second Wildcat play all year, but the other was at the goal line. So I think it was goal line against the Pittsburgh Steelers, but that's not necessarily when it's going to work the best. So I'd love to see some more Wildcat just sprinkled in, not a lot, not twice in a drive, just like one, maybe 2 plays, make them a little bit different as well. This would be hilarious. I think that would be. I'm honestly going to say, I think that's exactly what they're going to try and do. I think that's 100% their goal. They're going to run the same play.
I mean, listen, I mean, like I said, I mean, everybody talking about what players they was missing on week 4 when we played them this year, but at the same time, it's like, yo, sometimes when you do get added players to the mix, sometimes you ain't gonna get the best recipe. So I forgot who all they was missing from week 4 when we played them, but I mean, just it's okay. Let me say it like this. Any Commanders. So TCB family, you know any Commanders fans? I guess y'all can give them a hug if they're a family member, friend, or whatever. Because I know they going through it. Because I know they didn't believe they was going to beat Detroit the way they did. I didn't believe that they was going to beat Detroit the way they did, and we watched Jared Goff. I don't know if you watched it last night, Connor, but watching Jared Goff, it was like, yo, he was a little lost. And the Commanders, man, they ran the triple option too a little bit last night. Just the way you brought it up. I mean, they look pretty damn good. They ran some concepts where Scary Terry got open, things of that nature. What I'm about to say is, yes, Detroit was the big bag dog for sure. They was the ones that that we would believe would be going to the AFC Championship game. But them guys that's right there on the cusp of DC, they wanted it a little bit more. They was more physical. They was more branded. They got a good mixture of young and old talent on both sides of the ball, and they just wanted more. The reason I'm bringing them up because hey, Baltimore is the same way. Baltimore got guys in the organization where they're playing for just more than just themselves. They're playing for one another. When you finally see Marlon Humphrey, where I know guys feel like Marlo is the goofy guy, always on IG Live and stuff like that. But he has taken such of a leadership role of that secondary where those guys have responded. For him to say, hey, I've had some one-on-one conversation with my teammates and like, listen, it wasn't pretty, but they need to hear that. They need to hear this. You can tell it's a different type of atmosphere in the locker room. You got Broderick Washington giving the guys a speech to tell them to tighten up. Yo, it's like in these moments in this season, you're seeing different leadership come out of different guys. And either guys are going to respond to it in a positive way and show up, or they're going to not pay them no mind. But because certain guys have been in the locker room, putting in the work, doing what needs to be done, constantly, showing up, they are respecting and hearing what they got to say. I mean, yeah, even last week when Derrick Henry got the game ball, he didn't have to say too much. Hey, man, let's stay locked in. It is a different atmosphere. It is a different time this year. Man, listen. It can get real scary come 6:30, and I mean real scary for Buffalo. Do you think we see more Steven Sims motions and jet sweeps, try to keep the Bills defense guessing? Honestly, I think we might throw half the kitchen sink at the Bills. So I think we do see a little bit of Steven Sims. I also feel like we're going to see a little bit more Anthony Miller out there in the field too. Just for the simple fact he's not as fast or savvy as a Zay Flowers, but he's shifty enough. He's route running for what I've seen a little bit. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. I know with Zay not being on the field, there's going to be opportunities for Tez Walker to take the defense over top, and I see Lamar Jackson hitting him with the deep ball. Hell, even Big Zay, the gorilla, man. This is something that we've been talking about for a long time, Makonda, when we couldn't find a wide receiver. Put him in the slot. Let them go outside. Mm-hmm. I mean, they have a decent secondary, but their secondary guys are not comparing to a 6'4", 6'6", Big Zay, a.k.a. the Gorilla, in the slot on the outside. And I feel like there is mismatches, there is chinks in this Bills defense and their armor where we can definitely take advantage of. So I'm looking forward to seeing, Justice Hill getting out there, continually running north and south. And I mean, hey, man, listen. I know we used to talk about him when he was running east and west, but I don't know what finally clicked in him. Granted, I wish the game would have slowed down for him sooner, but now that the game has now slowed down for him, he's been more productive than anything, and I'm proud to have him on our team. Oh damn! Did T.O. do a bet last week?
Hey, he did. I do remember that.
Okay. So I mean, hey man, listen, you gotta do what you gotta do. If that's your mojo, you feel like it's working. Hey, we're here for it, brother. So man, listen, it's a business trip. It's a business trip to Buffalo, and these guys are hungry. These guys are ready. These guys, I don't want to say it feel like 2012 vibes, McConnell, but this story is this story is this story seems a little special.
Yeah, I mean, you look the comparison to 2012 I like to make is we had to go through everybody. We had to
Mm-hmm.
go through the young surging Colts. We had to go through Peyton Manning in Denver. We had to go through Tom Brady in Foxborough. Now we got to go against division rival Pittsburgh Steelers. We have to go against Josh Allen in Buffalo and then Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City, right? Those are the two, best quarterbacks in the NFL outside of Lamar Jackson. Like, so the best two quarterbacks that you could possibly play if you're the Baltimore Ravens, they're going to be facing if they're able to get there. And so when I'm looking at this game and I'm looking at, this postseason run, you have to look back. You have to recognize how we did it in the past. And we had one player stand out in that postseason run. As good as Joe was, as good as Ray Rice, as good as Ray Lewis was, as good as Corey Graham was, 2 interceptions, including the a pick six against Peyton Manning. Jacoby Jones, I think, was the guy, right? Jacoby
Yeah,
Jones gets the
yeah.
Flacco fling in Denver to tie the game, kick return touchdown in the Super Bowl, and then he gets the long pass. I don't remember the exact yards, like 50-plus yard pass from Joe Flacco, and then hits the spin in the Super Bowl as well. Jacoby Jones and Anquan Bolden were the guys that really were the standout. Wow, they really played up a level at wide receiver. And I've got a helmet right here signed by one of our Baltimore Ravens that I think this is the guy we have to see go off. We're going to show the signature, but I believe that's an R, and then it says Bait right after. Rashad Bateman is
Ooh.
the guy I'm looking at in
Yeah.
this postseason run. Had a big third down touchdown against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We have no Zay Flowers in this game. Rashad Bateman has to be that pass catching weapon that we've been looking for, right? We drafted him in the first round out of Minnesota, 4 years ago or 3 years ago. I think it was 4 years ago. I think this is year 4. And the expectation was, right? Remember, we had Hollywood. Like this wasn't a situation where we drafted him and it was like, oh, like we don't know if like we had Hollywood and we were like, yo, we need someone that can get open and make
Yeah.
those plays. And this is in 2020. This is a team, or 2021. This is a team that's looking to, potentially win a Super Bowl, right? They've already won their MVP. Lamar Jackson's already him. And they're like, yo, we need another guy. And he's been hurt. He's been on and off the field. He's had some struggles. But now he's playing the best football of his career. He's balling out. Lamar Jackson is trusting him more and more. He's on a 2-year deal. I'm very excited to see what he's able to do in Buffalo, because this is the type of game where, you make a lot of money. This is when everybody is watching. You're not going to be able to win this game just with Derrick Henry. You're not going to be able to win this game just with Lamar Jackson. You got to have your receivers make plays. I'm looking at Rashad Bateman, and I'm saying this is why we drafted you. This is the type of game that if he plays, like, I'm not saying he has to go out for 250 yards. If he plays a game like he's played in the back end of this regular season, the Baltimore Ravens should win this game because Rashad Bateman's been that good for them. He's been that consistent.
Oh, the fact that you bring up Rashad Bateman is a what's going on? It's a true fruition, man. Because I think we had more hopes for him than this next guy that I'm going to talk about, McConnell. The guy that that said in the beginning of the season, I want 10 sacks. Mr. Adafio Way, man. Man, listen. I think I know as us as fans, us as guys that maybe studied the game, maybe even played the game at the highest levels that we were able to play. You know, you sit back, you look at some of these young guys, we feel like they don't have no work ethic. We feel like they don't want this, things of that nature. But those two guys, I had to give them their respect. I got to give them their props because, yeah, people, oh, Rashad and Lamar not working out together. The chemistry's been there. We just had to get them on the field at the same time. And knock on wood, it's been a blessing to see Rashad be able to play through the whole season and be able to produce on all facets, all levels, be able to get open, be able to, bring the ball in and make things happen at the catch. It's been amazing. We could actually see, why we drafted this young man. Usually we don't draft developmental defensive front seven guys so early, but clearly the organization saw something in the Dafio way where it's like, yo, he could be something special. And I'm gonna be honest, he's finally putting it together. He's finally putting it together. And I feel like, this can be a monstrous game for him. He is not just using just his strength. I'm watching him. I'm seeing him using his technique. And when you a guy that has that strength, no, he's not a Miles Garrett. No, he's not a TJ Watt. He's a Daffy Jason Owe. And he's putting it all together. He's working out. When you have, Namdi Metabike or Kyle Van Noy that other, opposing offensive guys have to worry about, you have the free range to be who you need to be. And it's amazing. It's amazing. So being able to see a guy like him finally, develop and blossom and come around at the most of canny of times, it truly is a testament to, yes, we do have. I'm not going to say I'm not going to say the Ravens organization is squeaky clean or, they do everything right. No, they have many of wrongs. They have, checked off on some of the wrong players. They have handled situations previously, and not so the best ways. But when it comes to, kind of figuring out talent, I will give them that. They have they have untapped the potential in some of the guys that has came and played for us. I mean, in Deshaun, I was about to get to him. You can't forget about Mr. Patrick Ricard himself, man. I mean, he's been a star-studded guy. He is someone that can rumble and stumble and bumble if you give him the opportunity and chance to give him the ball. I mean, shout out to Arthur Jones, as well. When I think he was an eligible lineman as well last week against the Steelers, but he was part of the jumbo pack, and because of how forceful he was in blocking, I mean, hey, they created so many different lanes. So I mean, Patrick Ricard was another guy, with untapped potential, started on the defensive line, kind of, hey man, try to play fullback. And look where he's at now. He's a household name. He's a pro bowler. So, we love to see those type of guys in the room. Even shout out to Rosengarten. I mean, hey, for a young man that didn't think like he was a nobody, like, yo, everybody's noticing you. Everybody noticing you, and you're playing some good damn ball in your first season in the NFL. And you love to see these guys, truly blossom, especially at the right time, man. And this offensive line, yeah, we done had a couple hurries, a couple sacks here and there. But as long as we can stay disciplined in this game, as long as we can stay physical, keep these guys moving forward, we'll be okay. We'll be okay.
Yeah, and I wanna add on to what you brought up about Odafe Oweh, right? When we drafted him, he was clearly a project, and we both talked about it. We both said, right, don't judge him year one, judge him year 4. See what he does year 4, because that's the do we give him the 5th-year option? We gave him the 5th-year option coming into the year, and he's been exactly what we could have hoped. I like the contract that he's on for next year, but we have to remember what we drafted, right? We drafted Jason Away, who quickly was like, you know what? I'm going by Odafe in the NFL. And was like, all right, sounds good. Yeah. But when we drafted him, this guy was 6'5", 250 pounds, 240 pounds, running a 4.3 40-yard dash. And we were like, oh, if he puts that together, right, he's
Mm-hmm.
going to be the guy that can stop these scrambling quarterbacks, stop these Patrick Mahomeses, right? Stop these Derrick Henrys, right? Stop these Josh Allens who we had been eliminated by in the postseason. So this was a situation where it was like, yo, we need this guy. And now when you look at what he's developed into and what we need from him today in 22 minutes is we need that guy that's big, fast, and strong to go up toe to toe with one of the biggest, fastest, strongest quarterbacks the NFL has ever seen in Josh Allen. It's time for Odafe Oweh to have that, breakout game in this year because he's been good. Ravens fans recognize he's had a good year. But the national media does not bring him up. And I think Kyle Van Noy gets a lot of the credit, which Kyle Van Noy, again, another great season. But people bring up Beaks. People now bring up Travis Jones. People bring up, no one talks about Odafe. It's time for Odafe to make his name known and have, again, not asking for a 4-sack game. If he gets 1 sack, if he gets one, he chases Josh Allen and rather than getting to the edge and getting 15 yards, he steps out of bounds for a 2-yard gain. Those are critical plays when you're playing these types of quarterbacks like a Lamar Jackson, like a Josh Allen. You have to be able to stop the massive play by limiting them to a small gain. So that's what I'm looking for in Odafe Oweh. And this Rams-Eagles game time is running out. Rams, on my screen, it's 4th and 11 for the Rams, down by like 6 or maybe 5. So we'll see if they're able to win it. But, in the secondary, Joshua, we're looking at these Buffalo receivers, Amari Cooper, Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How are you lining up against those guys?
Listen, me personally, I'm putting Nate on Keon. I'm putting Nate on Keon. Amari Cooper. I'll take my chances with Brandon Stevens on Amari Cooper. Since Shakir's going to be in a slot, I gotta go with Marlowe. But with Amari Cooper, I feel like Amari Cooper's career to a degree has rejuvenated a little bit more in Buffalo. So I would have that over the top help. We all know that all teams, that we have been playing against all year, they feel like Brandon Stevens is a weak link in our secondary. I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Stevens found a way to step up this game. I wouldn't be surprised if Brandon Stevens go back to ball skills, Brandon Stevens that we saw, last year that went crazy, which, I feel like is totally capable. I don't know what the lapse was from last year to this year, but I mean, honestly, we need a big game out of him. But if he's not able to show up, man, listen, we need that over the top help. He's going to need that over the top help. So I'll put rookie on rookie, Marlowe. If he keeps on bumping Shakir off his route, just be physical with the guy, and however his routes go, Shakir, he has to continuously get bumped. He has to continuously get some type of contact. We just can't let him run free. If you let him run free, he reminds me of a Tyreek Hill, just not as fast, but better hands. Once he gets the ball, he can move. He can get to the next level very quickly. Amari Cooper, a technician, in my opinion, he has good hands. He knows how to get up the field. He knows how to place himself in position in order, to get those first downs and things of that nature. So I feel like, if you have a Brandon Stevens kind of play physical with that type of guy and, go stride for him, you're good. Keon Coleman, we love Keon Coleman. Granted, he's in a Buffalo Bills jersey, but, rookie on rookie, let them work out, let them do their thing. And hey man, let's go out there and have some fun, man. Put Kyle Hamilton on all over the field. Let him do what he do. Let our Darius Washington, who I feel like is going to possibly get that pick six, that interception this today, because he be in place for the ball, but he's not. He doesn't have that Geno Stone that we grew to love, where right place, right time, and they was able to get those interceptions. But our Darius is physical. He's there at the right place, right time. He just don't bring the ball in. So if we can get him to bring the ball in today, man, that's going to help us out even more. So that's how I will line the guys up. What you're thinking about our secondary against their wide receiver core?
First off, I remember when we were watching that week 4 game, Brandon Stevens was covering Keon a fair bit. And Josh Allen, towards the end of when he was in, he started throwing those back shoulder fades. And that's when it was working. I do not want Nate on Keon Cole, or I do not want Brandon Stevens on Keon Coleman, because Keon Coleman's specialty is the back shoulder fade, the jump ball, the use his size to his advantage. That's Brandon Stevens' worst attribute. Let's not put him on there. Obviously, Marlon's going to be in the slot. I assume that's going to be mostly Khalil Shakir today. But really, the big thing that I'm looking for is, I think, just have help, right? Stick in cover 4. If you want to run, cover 2-man, that's totally fine. I don't fault that either. But make sure they don't beat you with the deep play, right? Josh Allen's a fantastic deep ball thrower. He has a very strong arm. We had a miscommunication with Brandon Stevens and Kyle Hamilton last week. We can't have that again. Those are the type of plays that end seasons in the postseason, is having miscommunications where you think you have help and you're not supposed to. So I want to make sure that Kyle Hamilton is playing over top. And I want to make sure that we're not being overly aggressive. I don't want to see us get too cute in the pass coverage game. I don't want to see us dropping, too many pass rushers into coverage. If you're trying to do simulated pressures and things like that, I get it. I'm fine with it every once in a while, right? You want to, simulated pressure would be something where you send 4, but you drop a D lineman in coverage. So typically a linebacker blitzes, for anybody that doesn't know. So having like a Roquan blitz, having a Chris Board blitz, having a Malik Harrison blitz, that's fine. But I don't really want to see Matabike. I don't really want to see Travis Jones dropping into coverage. If you drop anyone, have it be probably Kyle Van Noy, maybe in a Dafe away. But again, it's got to be in a situation where you're expecting Josh Allen to have to get the ball out really quickly, because he's going to recognize, he's a good quarterback. He's going to recognize when these guys that aren't naturally in coverage all the time, when they drop, he recognizes it. So, it can't be a situation where he's just like going to drop back, sit, look around, and then be able to throw the ball. I'm thinking it's going to be a lot of just standard 4-man pass rushes, and not letting the Bills beat you over the top. Because if they try and run the ball, remember, the Ravens are the best run defense in the NFL. That's what they want you to do. I expect the Ravens to force them into a couple of 3rd and longs, and that's when you have to get home with your 4-man pass rush. And that's really one of the things that sent the Ravens home the last couple of years. They couldn't get home in the 4-man pass rush. That's the key today. And then, put Brandon Stevens on the outside, put Nate Wiggins on the outside, and Marlon in the slot. And that's really all I'm looking for.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely, man. I mean, who's the tight end? Dalton Kincaid?
Yeah, Kincaid. And then they also have Knox, so they have good tight end room.
Okay. I mean, you don't hear, well, from the games I've seen, from what I watch, you don't hear too much about the tight end play, but we also want to, make sure we keep eyes on them. Still respect who's out there on the field. I mean, like I said, I will say shout out to them, utilizing James Cook. They have kind of developed a little bit of a run game. But honestly, what's their head coach, Doug McDermott? Yep. Doug McDermott has had a history of what we gonna, how can we gonna be real about it. He's had a history of shit in the bed. John Harbaugh, we also know he's had a history too. I think this game is another game that also comes down to who can outcoach who can outcoach who's staffed the best as well. Because I mean, when it comes down to those big moments, do you have enough in the tank? Do the Buffalo Bills have enough in the tank in order to, withstand an onslaught of, a constant a ground and pound game in the Baltimore Ravens? Do the Baltimore Ravens have enough in the tank? Or is it, people going to try to attack him, Zachary Orr? Does he have enough as a, first-year defensive coordinator to stop the passing attack of a Buffalo Bills with Josh Allen and company? So there's a lot of things we had to factor in, because as a coach, it's always a chess match. You always got to figure out how can you have one up on the next on your opponent. So I'm definitely looking forward to see how Todd Monken and company, John Harbaugh, Todd Monken, Zachary Orr how those men come together to, put a winning formula out there on the field today. Because every game is different, every team is different. We know that yes, Buffalo Bills can run the ball just a tad bit with James Cook, but also they are known, their identity is the passing game. How do you truly stop that? How do you limit, a Josh Allen from breaking out and running the ball? When it comes to us, we had to figure out how do we stay efficient. How do we, shut out a Matt Milano or a Von Miller? How do we beat their secondary guys? So I'm looking forward to see how this coaching staff can continue to progress because clearly we got a good formula. Everybody's asking for interviews with our coaches except Zachary Orr, seeing that it is his first year. But we got something special. And loving and I'm hoping Todd Monken doesn't take no head coaching job. Because next year will be year 3, man. And I'm gonna say it, man. We go to the Super Bowl and he needs to stay. He needs to stay, run it back again, because this team, we need consistency. I'm all for progression and one's career, but we don't actually realize how those leave the constant leaving, the up and leaving, leave certain players and certain organizations. Asmodeus, where you been at, man? Where's the meal at for the day?
I think you're 100% right. Looking at this game, and Asmodeus is 100% right as well. Smash that like button. It does help out the channel. And make sure to come back after the game, guys. We got 28 people in here. Come back after the game. Win or lose, we're going to be live. But this is a huge game for these coordinators. Both offensive coordinators, they are up for head coaching jobs. Brady and Monken are both getting looks. And I think both have been brought in by the Bears. I think Brady's been brought in by the Saints. Monken's been brought in by the Jags and the Bears. I don't know all of the teams. Obviously, Monken might be gone. That's all I know. I'm not a fan of any of the other teams, so I'm like, whatever. If he leaves, he leaves. It doesn't matter where he goes after that. I don't really care. Like Mike McDonald, I cared because I loved Mike McDonald. And I hated it. Of course, he goes to my least favorite team in the league with the Seahawks. But besides the point, not trying to get sidetracked. This is going to be a huge game. These guys are both going to be calling plays because we just saw the offensive coordinator that most people are saying, this is the best head coach candidate. This is the guy everybody wants. In Ben Johnson, he called one of the worst possible games you could ever call in the history of the playoffs. That was a Greg Roman game. A Greg Roman game that he called. He called Greg Roman. He's like, Greg, I hear that Denny's menu you got. I hear there's a vault. You got any places? You're like, man, you know what I got? Wide receiver pass. And they hit, he's like, look at this highlight. And he shows them the James Prochet thrown to triple coverage intercepted. And they're like, Jameson Williams, you can do it. Jameson Williams does that. They were averaging 8 yards per carry and ran for 200 yards. And they just didn't run the ball. Horrible game. So you're watching that and you're like, oh, Kellen Moore for the Eagles. He's doing a great job. Eagles are rolling. They beat the Rams. These offensive coordinators, they're not just going against the other team's defenses. They're trying to call better games than all these other OCs to try and get promoted and get their first head coaching job. So it's a huge game for that. And Asmodeus, thank you so much for the super chat. Been to 8 games this season. Oh
nice.
My gosh.
Okay.
Also, he's having McChickens. Asmodeus, always bringing the food talk. Love to see it. 8 games. What was the best game you went to? I'm curious because I wonder. Also, were they all home games or did you travel at all? Because I went to one. I went to the Dallas game. Did you go to any games, Joshua, this year?
Not this year, man. I'm working for next year to get to PSL so we can make some more games, brother.
There you go. Let's see. Chant Holland or Shantae says the Bills are going to be a little bit more prepared than the last time. I think it's close, 31-27 Ravens. I think it's going to be relatively close as well. I think anybody expecting a week 4-esque performance is a little bit too optimistic as great as that would be. I just think that's pretty outlandish to predict or at least expect. If you think, the Ravens are going to blow them out, sure. But if you're I'm expecting a blowout, that I think is absolutely wild. I've seen a couple of 10-point wins. Killer says 31-21. Zay's got it. Zay's got the confidence. And you know what?
We love that though. We love that. But
You know what? We love it. We love it.
You know.
But we got 7 minutes till game time. Asmodeus, thank you so much. Says he went to Buffalo at 9/29 versus the Bills. That was your birthday. That's a pretty good birthday.
Happy belated, my
Derrick
guy.
Henry. Happy belated birthday or early birthday for next September 29th. Thank you again for the super chat. But guys, it's time for these bold predictions. We're going to start with the offensive side of the ball. Everybody drop your bold predictions in the comments so we can get them all out before this game starts. And then if they do end up hitting, we're going to be posting about it. We're going to be hyping them up. Joshua, what is your offensive bold prediction for this game?
All right, bold. Let's go. Let's talk about it. Lamar Jackson, 600 all-purpose yards. 600 all-purpose yards. I got with a Jackson 5.
Woo.
Yeah.
Jackson 5 for Lamar Jackson. For me, I like this Bateman one. I'm not going to steal the Bateman one. I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say the Ravens put up 300 yards rushing. I think that's what they go for. It's my bold prediction. I think Derrick Henry, 200. And then I think Lamar and Justice get a combined 100 as well. I think they run the ball today. I think they try and do exactly what they did against Pittsburgh. I got 300 rushing yards for the Baltimore Ravens in this game.
I like that.
Killer X says feed the king. 167 yards. And now it's time to go to the defense. Zay's got another one. Beaks, 2 to 3 sacks again. What are you thinking on defensive side of the ball? I know you brought some up while we were, during the stream. What's your official bold prediction?
I got 5 turnovers. 1 strip sack. One is a strip sack to the crib, and 1 is a pick 6 by my boy Ardarius.
Ardarius pick 6 and a strip sack taken to the crib. For me, I'm gonna go with the legacy game. No one's expecting it. No one's ready for this prediction, but I'm grabbing the mic and I'm saying it's time to bring him back. 2025 is a new year.
Yeah.
BS, ball skills, Brandon Stevens, legacy game, 2 interceptions for Mr. Brandon Stevens. I think they try and go at him, and I think he has a really good game. That's my bold prediction. This might be the most bold prediction in the history of the channel, is thinking Brandon Stevens is going to have a good game. But I think Brandon Stevens balls out today. That's my super bold prediction.
Yo, I mean, the crazy thing about it, man, if they put him on Amari Cooper, I really see it. I can see it happening.
We've got Wrong Siren says jet sweep touchdown. Killer X 3 sacks, 2 picks.
Yeah.
Hamilton pick 6, likely 92 tutties. Zay is not playing, unfortunately. And C-Mac, it is game time. And now it's the final time. The final prediction after we get Wrong Sirens. Our Darius Washington 2 picks. Love it. What are we thinking for the score? What's our score prediction for this game?
Oh man, listen. Damn. I did say a Jackson 5, so we already at 35. I'm gonna go 42-27.
42-27. All right, high scoring affair. I'm going to say my final score prediction. 37-27. Baltimore Ravens game.
I like that.
3 field goals from Justin Tucker. Which again, apparently, I heard the Buffalo Bills, they weren't moving for him. They weren't moving for Justin Tucker. I don't like that. So I'm hoping Justin Tucker has a good playoff game in the cold, and they pound that rock. But everyone, thank you all so much for coming through. Make sure to subscribe for more. We will be live right when the game ends. Hopefully talking about the Ravens-Chiefs matchup and being all excited talking about the game. But if not, if the Ravens were somehow to lose this game, we will go over it. We will analyze it. We will pivot and start talking about next season. But thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe for more. And hopefully the next time we see you, we're getting ready for the Chiefs next Sunday. Have a good one. Enjoy the game. Get your popcorn ready.
There we go.
Have fun.